Awesome. Oh, I'm already connected. Cool. Okay. Hi, guys. Let me get over here. Perfect. So when I got asked to do this keynote, I was told to talk about myself. And I think in order to do that, I need to explain how I got here. And I do not mean my Uber ride here. I mean who I am and how I got started. Because according to statistics, I'm not supposed to be here. So, my name is Emonee LaRussa, and if you haven't seen my Instagram bio, I'm a 2-time Emmy Award-winning motion graphics artist and director. I predominantly worked on music visuals before pursuing NFTs full-time, working with artists like Meg Thee Stallion, Lil Nas X, Kanye West, just to name a few. I'm also the founder of Panorama Studios, an animation studio bringing together some of the most talented animators from all over the world to help create the best lyric videos and animated music visuals. My goal here today is to tell you my story in hopes that I could show you how we could change the future of digital art. So, as a kid, I always knew I wanted to be in the music industry. But being that I sound like a dying whale when I sing, that was off of the table. But you could see me dressed as Sade and Alicia Keys for a talent show, so I was about it. I love shooting music videos, and I think looking back now, I could wholeheartedly say these are the most cringiest videos on YouTube today. In high school, I found the glorious Andrew Kramer from Video Copilot. I was obsessed with Film Riot, or Final Cut King, Mike Diva, Film Riot, Rocket Jump, and I was like, what? Like, you could do this for a living. Like, you get paid to do stuff like this. Another big reason I got so excited to do this is because my grandma actually thought these were real, so that was like a good incentive for me. I signed up for film classes in high school, and I was making videos all the time, so it was a no-brainer. I need my own laptop. My dad's crappy work computer can barely handle Microsoft Word. Like, it would overheat, so opening up After Effects was just not gonna happen. I begged my mom for weeks for a laptop, and she agreed. This was something I was passionate about, and I had the drive for. And I remember we had pulled up to Best Buy, and I'd put this $300 Acer computer on the counter, and boom, her credit card got declined. Try again, decline. And we walked out of the store empty-handed. I was absolutely devastated because my entire life I'd been fed the idea that as a kid, if you have the drive, if you work hard, you could be whoever you want. But for the first time, I had realized that my dreams were reliant on having money, and it didn't matter how much creativity or passion that I had. 17% of children ages 3 to 18 live in households without a computer. That's at least 11 million students that don't have a computer. And children who are Black, Hispanic, or Native American have even lower than average access. But you should know that months later, my mom was able to save up and get me that laptop. And I was able to finally open After Effects and render something too. Granted, it did take 8 hours to render something out, but it rendered, and that's all that mattered. Later, I ended up winning Most Likely to Win an Artistic Award in high school. You can see my little clipping. But I still couldn't get out of my head the thought that a kid was never able to go back and get that laptop. Fast forward, I have decided to pursue a bachelor's in digital filmmaking and video production, and I was told that it was going to be harder for me, but I wasn't really sure what that had meant. I wanted to be a cinematographer who used their visual effects and motion graphics as like an added plus. I always went above and beyond to make that possible, so I even got 120% in my cinematography class. My first year attending, I got my first job as a cinematographer and motion graphics artist for a gym. But it seemed that no matter how much I was excelling, I couldn't prove myself to my own industry. One thing about being a cinematographer is that you need a crew. And although I had the portfolio and the experience, no one wanted me to be their cinematographer. In fact, I was told that I could never get respect in my field because of the way that I dress. I never understood how a piece of fabric can make people feel like my work ethic was invalid. I actually remember there was this guy that said that the only reason why I won any award was because I was a girl, and that they felt bad for me. Couldn't possibly be my hard work. Couldn't possibly be my knowledge, my experience, my passion. It had to have been because I was a girl. So one moment, I'm being told it's harder for me to get the job because I'm a woman, and the next moment, I'm being told that the only reason why I got the job is because I'm a woman. Did you know that in animation schools, 60% of them are made up by women? Which would be great if not only 20% of them actually get hired for animation positions. What's even more crazy is that only 2% of those female animators are Black. Fast forward again, graduated, and I'm now working at CBS News full-time. That's 40 hours a week. I'm working an additional 20 hours a week making unofficial lyric videos and fan art for my favorite artists. And at this point, I wasn't getting paid, but I was getting practice, I was getting content, I was getting followers, and most importantly, I was catching the eyes of these musicians. I learned very quickly that not everything needed to bring in money in order for it to have value. So, with the thanks to my passion and dedication, I got my work in front of the internet. And I do not mean www, that type of internet. I mean the musical band, The Internet, one of my favorite bands that led me to not only making my first ever official concert graphic, but I made their entire set list and I got paid for it. So creating fan art had allowed me to not only get noticed by my favorite artists, but I got to work with them. So I continued to work 60-hour weeks, and I will never forget the day I was running late to work at CBS News, which was pretty usual, because I was finishing up a fan art piece for Tyler, the Creator. I'd exported it out, and I put it on all socials, and it started blowing up, and then, boom, it got liked by Columbia Records on Twitter, which is huge. So with seconds to spare, I shot my shot back, and I tweeted back, and I was like, hey, Columbia, if you like my work so much, why don't you hire me? But like with a lot more emojis and capitalized words. I got a DM from John Vincent Salcido, the VP of Digital Marketing at Columbia, asking me to email him. Like, this man has worked with my favorite artists of all time, and he was asking me to email him. So I quit CBS News, and a few weeks later, I was working on concert graphics for Lil Nas X. But before I left, I was able to scoop 2 Emmys on my way out. One was during COVID, hence me in my backyard. There wasn't a single day that I wasn't working. And if you know anything about the music industry, you know that their deadlines are yesterday. I was working with the largest record labels, with the biggest artists, making anything from lyric videos, animated videos, concert graphics, and it was all happening so fast. My career was finally blowing up, so much so that I couldn't handle all the work myself, so I would find animators through the Instagram hashtags. So if you're ever wondering if you should hashtag your work, here's a great example of that. My goal was to provide opportunities to those that I thought were unrepresented in the space, so it was awesome. Now fast forward to current time, I've quit client work entirely, and I've decided to pursue NFTs full time, and I love it. Not only do I get to make my own schedule and do projects that I love doing, but I see the potentials NFTs bring to future generations to come. Last year, I spent a total of 35 days working on NFTs and made the same amount of income I did for a year's worth of client work. What a huge opportunities NFTs are. It allows everyday people with amazing talents to be able to sell their art for actual money. My parents still have a hard time understanding that crypto is actual money, but we are getting there. But it's no longer this fight for a spot in the traditional art world. The endless opportunities for some I think we commonly see the lack of color and diversity in this space. So when you look at the top NFT artists of all time, you'll have a hard time finding women and an even harder time finding Black and brown artists. Thank you. I bring up these conversations about equality and inclusion with the goal to not make you feel uncomfortable, but I want you to feel empowered to change this, because I believe that by doing so, we could change the future of digital art. So the question is, how do we do it? I think it starts with opportunity. If you're in a position to curate an event or promote new NFT artists, go out of your way to find them. Trust me, there's so much untapped talent out there just waiting for their moment to shine. Also, collecting and supporting art from artists that don't look like the same artists we've seen in the space. That small opportunity can lead to a very big change. Secondly is accessibility. So I told you before that I couldn't get the thought of a kid not being able to go back and get that laptop. Because of NFTs, I've been able to use them to fund something I believe can make this change. I'm incredibly proud to say that I'm the founder of the nonprofit organization Jumpstart Designers, where our mission is to provide computers and Adobe CC to kids in underserved communities, where we not only provide the tools, but the education and opportunities as well, so that we could get these kids started on their digital art dream. I mean, think about the biggest artists in this space. A lot of them started at a very young age. And as we all know, digital art's a very expensive field to get into. By providing this access, I believe that we could create a huge impact. We would see more artists who aren't limited to what they can create, and we'd hear new stories and experiences that we never hear. We as artists have the privilege to create thoughtful meanings and spread joy and excitement. And although I've been through many obstacles, and I know many others have faced as well, I feel that for the first time, I'm supposed to be here. I appreciate you all for taking the time to listen to me, and I hope that you can all go out of your way to change the future of digital art. Thank you.